heard back if he's gonna come to the meeting or not. And I think that it's important when you start recruiting, you have to, there's a fine line between being a boss and then kind of being a teammate and a coach, right? You don't wanna be too bossy because then people aren't going to like that. Now the reality is, some people need a boss, right? And we recruit a lot of employees who are used to that type of environment, but that's not what we are. That being said, the conversation that I had, and I think that everyone can take a page out of this book, I said, look, you gotta, when someone doesn't let you know if they're coming or not to the meeting and then they don't show up, or you're asking them to confirm and then they don't, and they have a job, you have to ask them, at your job, if you weren't gonna show up, would you let your boss know? Would you let your coworkers know? Would you let somebody know? You would, right? There's no way, and that's the truth, there's no way at your job that you're gonna be like, hey, I may come, I may not, and then you just don't show up. So all we're asking, Mike, is that if you are not coming, just let us know, because you would do that at your job. All I'm asking for is the same respect that you would have for your boss or your coworkers at your job, that you have that with us. The funny thing is that people have that etiquette. It already exists within them, but for some reason they don't apply it here and they don't apply it with us. And that's something that you have to establish very early on. And I think that the reason why people kind of fall into that is because the way that we sell the opportunity. Oh, do whatever you want, come whenever you want, there's no quotas, work when you want, choose your own hours. And I think somewhere in there is like, also, I don't have to let you know anything. You know what I mean? And that's not how it works.
Yeah.
We deserve the same respect that they're, now does that mean that if they don't come they're getting fired? Does that mean if they don't come they're getting demoted? Of course not, but I think that that's like basic expectation in terms of communication with people that you're working with, and it's a conversation that you always have to have early on, okay? Now, what did I say? I said if you have the conversation, you don't like beat them up on it, just change the subject after. Hey man, this is how it works. And that, all right, now cool, what do we got this week? So that's kind of a way that you layer things on top of each other so you're not too tough in the beginning, and again, you don't come across as a boss. Okay, so what's the date today, right? The 11th, March 11th. The CEO at the trip in Hawaii, he said that March is the biggest month of the year. Now, I don't think we're starting out that way, but I have had months where in the third week, you know, Dante remembers, people remember, in the third week I was so behind, and then in the last week we got so much premium that I broke my premium record. So you gotta hit it. And part of what creates a lot of production and a lot of recruiting and a lot of activity is creating urgency within things. You have to be good at creating urgency. Primerica is a funny thing where you have to be patient, but also with a sense of urgency. Does that make sense? Like, I want to go RVP now, right? But I have to be patient. I have to be patient to go RVP, but I have to work every day with a sense of urgency because maybe I'm going to find my next superstar direct. And then in the urgency when you are recruiting somebody is, hey, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? Let's get started now. You're 30 years old. You've been working that job. You've been in that career. Like, are we going to wait another 30 years? You're saying you want to start a business. There's always going to be an excuse. The lights are never all going to be green. We got to get started. I'm going to help you. Let's just do, how many hours can you squeeze in? And you create that urgency. And then at the kitchen table, you have to create urgency as well. People know they need insurance. They know that they are at risk. And you have to create a sense of urgency. You know? I remember being at the kitchen table and you're sitting with, you know, two 43-year-olds, and they're like, man, we've always needed to do this, we've always thought about this, and at the end, oh, I still want to think about it. It's like, man, in your adult life, you've been working 20 years, you don't have investment plans set up, you don't have insurance. Are we going to wait another 20 years? Come on, we got to do this now. Why do you think that cliche exists? Starting is half the battle. Starting is half the battle. We got to start, right? If it was free, would you do it right now? So obviously it's the money. So what plan can we choose right now where literally you wouldn't even notice that amount coming out of your account? Right? I know this is a $120 option, you know? What about 70? That's like one dinner out, right? I took me and my niece and my nephew to Five Guys. They got 2 cheeseburgers. I was cheap. I was like, no, we're all sharing the fries. They give you a lot of fries. I'm not buying any fries. They got 2 kids' cheeseburgers, and I got a regular cheeseburger and fries, and they both wanted a drink. It was $45.
Wow.
Right? And people, can you imagine for $45 we're giving people $500,000 of term life insurance? It's insane. Okay, so what are some of the conversations that I have about creating urgency, right? Let's take a look at this. Urgency in getting insurance now. So obviously there's things in the presentation that prompt you to say certain things, ask certain things to create urgency, but these are just other concepts I want you to understand in terms of why people need insurance now. Because there's 2 things. There's belief, the client has to believe it, but you guys also have to believe it. The reason why we let people off the hook is because we don't have the belief. You also think they're going to be okay. You are also thinking, what's the big deal? I'll meet with them next week. What's a big deal? I'll follow up. No, it is a big deal. So let's talk about some of the reasons here, okay? You own a home. I think that this is a great way to market the life insurance product to people that are homeowners. And when they own a home, one of the things that we say, especially if you can kind of flip it into like a mortgage protection product, that's what a lot of people, that's how they sell life insurance. We've worked so hard, always we, right? Not you. We've worked so hard, John, to, get this asset for our family. Don't you want to make sure that that asset is protected even if we're gone? Whether you're here, whether you're not, you want to make sure this home stays in your family, right? We've worked so hard to get into this home. Don't we want to be in a position where we can protect it? If something happens to us, our family can keep this home. That's what the life insurance is going to do. I think this is an important play that you can use to your advantage because people are very emotional about their homes, about their home ownership. They're under the belief that it's their biggest and most important asset, right? So how are we not protecting it? Right? Homeowners insurance is very different than what we're talking about. That's something completely different. You want to protect your home as an asset for your family by making sure that if something happens, that that home is either paid off or there's enough money left to where they can afford to sustain it, those payments. It's hard with both incomes. Imagine only one. It's so funny, right? Because people will sell to you why they can't afford life insurance. A married couple will sit there and be like, things are a little tight right now because of this and that, and it's something we know, they're nice about it, right? Something we know we need, but it's just the timing right now, things are tight. I think in a little while, when we kind of work through our budget, we'll be able to find some money to where we can, hey, have you ever thought of this? We're having this conversation with both of you guys working. You're selling to me how hard things are. Imagine if one of you are not here. How much harder is it going to get? Are you forgetting that that's what I'm talking about? That's what we're here to talk about. I know things are hard with 2 people, right? If 2x is hard, then 1x, imagine how hard it's going to be. And who's it going to be hard on? Your kids. Life insurance is not a luxury product, right? If you're in survival mode and you're living off the government, yeah, I get it. Life insurance may not be the number one thing. You're literally trying to survive and put food on the table. But that's not our market. In middle market, if there's something that needs to be cut out and something else that needs to be added in, life insurance is one of those things where we need to cut something else out so we can fit this in. Not hey, when things are right and when we have all the money in the world, then we'll come back to you and spend $100 a month. You guys are wasting hundreds of dollars a month, and we both know that. Right? Your kids are young and dependent. How important is income to your family? How important is income to your kids? How important? Wouldn't we want to protect that income? You know, some people believe that you're responsible for your kids because you brought them into the world. You're responsible whether you're here or whether you're up in heaven. We're still responsible. And when you're up in heaven and you're looking down, what financial situation do you want to see your children in? Right? So we have these responsibilities while we're here. The question is, do you still feel responsible if you're not here? That's what I want to make sure. That's why we got to get something in place. Here's another thing that creates urgency. You could become uninsurable. I don't think that we use that enough. I use it. I don't hear people talk about it that much. Because I think that the agents actually believe, the group, right, the salespeople, that, oh, it'll be okay, we can come back. No, we've seen it a million times. While people are thinking about it, they become uninsurable. Life insurance is not like health insurance, where now it's guaranteed that you're going to get coverage. They can deny you. Right? Insurance, life insurance is bought with health. Just like loans are bought with credit worthiness, life insurance is bought with your health record. Your health can change in an instant. I've had people that they've had unexplained seizures. It never happened again. But you know what? We're not going to give them insurance now. We've had people, they said they wanted to think about it, they were interested, they wanted to meet a week later, and they had a little mini stroke. Yeah. What happens if you have a DUI? Right? Or something, you know, you get a couple tickets. All these things can knock you out. I've had people, they work out a lot, they're taking supplements. A lot of times we don't know what's in the supplements, right? So we're just taking supplements, and then you go take a urine test, and they're like, oh, there's like a banned substance in there, and the insurance company doesn't like it. We've had people get declined because their protein was too high. I don't even know what that means. Right? But it's like they do a urinalysis, it's this dude who works out, and they're like, nah, we don't like this, whatever is it. Wow. Right?
It could be kidney disease.
Crazy Jack.
Yeah.
So we see these things. So, you know, generally, insurance is based on what? And I think that's the next point as well.
Risk factors.
Actually, I'll say that at the end, my little thing. But, yeah, it gets, so insurance is based on what? Insurance is based on age and health. It's based on age and health. Generally, as we get older, we're not getting healthier, generally. And we're definitely not getting younger. So when is the best time to get insurance? Now. Right? You know, the price of gas, the price of everything has gone up and up and up over time. That's inflation. So if you had a way to kind of lock into a cost right now to prevent it from going up, it was guaranteed to go up every single year, and you could lock in right now, would you do it? Yes. That's what buying term insurance is. You are locking into the cost right now. It's going to be more next year, the year after, the year after, the year after. What we're saying is lock in now when you're the youngest, you're the healthiest, you're the cheapest, and then you set it and you forget it. You know, when I came into business, to get a $100 policy was kind of like a big deal. Now, it's not a big deal to get $100 on husband and wife. It's unfreaking believable, right? I look at people's advances, you know, like look, before, you used to sit with a client, husband and wife, and you would get one $80 a month application, and then you multiply that by 12, it's approximately $1,000, and then at 50%, right, you made $500. You know what's happening now? Husband will be 100, wife will be 100. This is, a total of 1,200 and 1,200 of premium. Now you're making 600 and 600. People are making $1,200 in a night versus 500 that used to be the average. So this is the part of inflation that's good, is that people are making more money, people have a higher capacity to spend, and you are going to make and should make more commission. Yeah, this area is expensive, but we have the ability to make a lot more money too. Yeah, houses are more expensive and rent's more expensive, but you also can be 19 years old working in a restaurant making $300 in a night. That doesn't happen a lot of other places in the country. So we have to take advantage by what? Getting on more appointments, creating a sense of urgency, and then understanding that, you know what, things have changed. $100 20 years ago is not $100 today. People would drop $100 on anything.
Yeah.
And we need to be getting $100 on both of them. Because why? Because we want to make more money? No, because they need to get the coverage that they actually need. I don't think everyone getting $500K is enough anymore. People should have $1 million policies in the right markets. But also, guess what? They're going to spend it anyways on stuff that is less important. What'd you think? Because you didn't sell them that policy that they took that little money and put it in their 401K? No, they went on Amazon, they bought something they're never going to use. That's what you have to understand. They're throwing the money. Are we sitting with elite, super wealthy, financially educated people? No, we're sitting with middle America, right? They're financially ignorant. We're educating them. Part of it is getting them in the plans, allocating their resource towards things that are going to improve their financial situation and protect their financial situation and their family. That's what we do. But this is the kind of stuff that you should be aiming for. Okay? So, Shaq, I know you got a good training on STAR today. All right, you ready?
Yep.